Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the...
Hey guys, welcome to a very special and first edition of the BWO podcast. That's right. XWFers, we are throwing some content in a different direction. The BWO had its first pay-per-view event, Uprising. It's on the boards, it's live. A lot of interesting and landscape changing things happening on this show. We're going to cover it in detail. First, I want to bring in my partners in crime, Bobby Bourbon, Thunder Knuckles, them no good bastards, XWF Tag Champions. Welcome back. And are you guys as excited and as pumped up for this show as I am?
Well, yeah, this is a big event. You know, it's the inaugural BWO show. A lot of cool things happen on this here show, and I look forward to talking about them.
Yeah, it's a doozy, man. It's something that's been going on, and we finally get to bring it out to you guys. So I hope you guys like it.
We've got a couple of guests to bring in. The first, obviously, half owner of the Fed, basically, our beloved Theo Pryce. Welcome back to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here. Super excited to talk about this show.
This show has definitely got some major moments in it. We would not have this show if we don't bring in our next guest, the one and only Fury. Welcome to your first podcast, and obviously talking about something near and dear to your heart, and that's the BWO, baby.
Well, thanks, Paige. Yep, BWO, Miss Fury's brand. What's up?
It's going to be an interesting show. It's the first program for the BWO organization. So before we dive into the show itself, I want to pick you in Theo's brain, because you guys have kind of conceptualized this show. I believe it was your idea, Fury, to start off with. And I could be completely wrong. And if I am, go ahead and correct me on that. But how did the concept for this program come about and get in conjunction with the XWF?
Me or Theo?
You, sir.
Oh, my bad. Well, I started thinking about it after you defeated Big D and took the world title, and you told me what your plans were for that. And anybody that paid attention to Big D and Mephisto would see that Graves got involved in that a lot. And that entire feud was angled, like just completely 100% start to finish angled, and that didn't change whenever I would get involved. And I thought that was really cool to kind of, like, I've never done an angled Fed before. 90% of anything I've ever done has been in the XWF, and it's been what XWF has, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to see him do that, and you know, it got me thinking. I was like, it's kind of cool that you can completely take control of your narrative. You don't have to worry about the competitive edge or anything like that. You can run a story exactly how you want to. And you told me what you were doing with that belt, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'd been joking with TK for a while. Bob kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I was like, soon we're going to be our own brand. We're going to have to get our own show. And I saw the opportunity to do something like that and add another aspect to the XWF, even though I am completely new to everything angled. It's something we didn't have, so let's try to make it work. This is the way I thought about it.
Well, it definitely, and Theo, this is, maybe you can speak on this more than anything else. It brings that next element that the Fed didn't have before. In past podcasts with you and Vinny, we've talked about kind of having something for everybody. How did you get in the mix on this, and you know, what made you and Vinny go ahead and give it the green light?
Well, when Graves had approached me, I think he had already spoken to Lane and was like, you know, here's what I proposed to him. He's all for it. I'd like your involvement in it. Here's what I kind of have in mind for Theo, and I was all for it. You know, as I've said before, for me, you know, one of the keys I think to the Fed's longevity is trying to market it to as many different people as possible, have as many different options as possible, and as you know, as Graves said, a fully angled Fed, and they are out there, was not something that we had. So with this, it's almost like we have an angled Fed within the Fed. which is awesome. You know, in a perfect world, we can attract new people through this BWO thing, and maybe they spend some time reading some of the other parts of the Fed, and maybe they want to try out, you know, a Warfare or a Savage, and you know that would be awesome if we can get new people in here who are just angled folks, but then they want to try their hand at some competitive things as well. That would be great. If not, that's fine. If we get people in the Fed who are just want to do like BWO, that'd be cool too, because there is a lot of fun that can be had with fully angled things. You know, so in terms of Theo's involvement, you know, Graves had pitched some ideas to me and said, like, here's what I'm thinking for Theo. You know, we would like him to be involved as maybe the guy that bridges the gap between the XWF and BWO. How does BWO get on screen? How do they get out there in the mainstream? How do we get that name out there, that brand, all that stuff? And the idea he came up with, it was simple, but it worked. You know, and I'm excited to help out in any way I can. I mean, this is Fury's thing. You know, my involvement is pretty much whatever he asks me to do, I'll go and do, but it's not something for me to, you know, to insert myself into. It's his thing, and I'm just there to kind of help as best I can.
It's starting off with a bang. So let's Fury, kudos for Muse Uprising as the theme here. That's a great track. I think I used that in the WGWF for about 4 years as the theme for the show. We're kicking this thing off with a insane rib on the pyro from Anarchy from a week or so ago. Am I right, Fury?
Yeah, but Anarchy started off this week with lots and lots of pyro, like a comical amount of pyro. And I felt like Miss Fury would want to one up Lane on this, it being her first show and all.
You started things off with a couple of vignettes for some BWO characters. For those who aren't familiar, you've got Johnny Miami, and you've got another pre-record with Huge Jackman, which it leads into your opening match of Johnny Miami versus Huge Jackman. Every match on this card is contested under Fury rules. Fury, go ahead, and for those out there who are unfamiliar, enlighten us. Fury rules. What are those? Obviously, it's no disqualification. It's pretty much anything goes, correct?
Anything goes. No count out, no DQ. Fight till there's a winner. Which for Miss Fury means use every resource at her disposal to try to steal the win.
Correct. This match, fresh new match writer got some hands on this, and it ends here with a burning hammer and Johnny Miami, your BWO babyface, going over Huge Jackman. We'll come to you in just a few minutes, Fury. Bobby Bourbon, chat me up on the opening match here, and the babyface going over, and Johnny Miami is officially introduced to the BWO roster.
Well, you know, the story going in to the match itself, you know, you hear the vignette from Huge Jackman, you know, and they built him up. And then, you know, you go into the match itself, and here's Johnny Miami just getting the do. I think it's a lot of fun, a lot of cool stuff going on there, a lot of good creativity. Look forward to what's coming up next. DK, what'd you think?
It was a match. Somebody wrote it. It was pretty good. I liked it.
It was a good first timer. It was a good first timer match. Training wheels were on. At least the individual put the effort in, right?
Yeah, right.
They get a gold star for that.
The match totally served the purpose that it intended to serve. I think it was a good match for what it needed to be.
And what was your when you put this match together? Obviously, the story wise, you're setting up, Johnny Miami, to be maybe I'm not going to say a lead babyface on the show, but there's obviously some plans for him, right?
There's some plans for him. I don't want to necessarily go into them. I'm not even going to commit that they're fully developed, but there are some plans for him.
With your opening match in the books, we roll into Big Daddy Cool Diesel versus Owlman. This one's it's a little interesting here because you get Owlman who gets to the ring, and Diesel's music hits, and there's no Diesel until finally this mystery guy, essentially Diesel's kidnapped. The last pay-per-view is brought back and lowered from the rafters into the ring, and Owlman's going to pick up the win here. So there's character development on the mystery character and Diesel, because we haven't seen Diesel since the last pay-per-view, right, guys?
Nope.
Theo, so hit me up, chat me up, talk to me about this little wrinkle with this mystery guy who's coming after Bob members.
Yeah, I mean, I would think with all the shenanigans that Bob has engaged in these last few weeks, it's no wonder that one more person kind of wants to take up the charge against them. We've seen it with Maine and Drew and a few others along the way. So I thought they did a good job of building intrigue as to who this person is. I mean, we know their motivations, but who they are. I thought the match itself was good, as I thought the one before it was. I thought they both were written with a purpose in mind, and I thought that those purposes were realized. So yeah, I was excited.
TK.
Yeah. Good match. I like the Diesel return, if you want to call it that, right? So he was kidnapped at March Madness and brought back here. Unfortunately, in not a good way. So I thought it was neat.
It's a different spin for sure on the story itself that's being told. Bobby Bourbon, how are you feeling about this? We've got this mystery man in the wings, and it seems like they're trying to pick off some Bobbies one at a time.
Well, they're funeral in character. I think it's a hot storyline. It's one that it draws parallels to Sting from the late '90s and the NWO, which again, phenomenal storyline. If you're gonna draw parallels to one, might as well go with a great one. I look forward to seeing where it develops. I think a lot of people are going to be very excited when they find out who the mystery man is. Or on the other side, maybe they'll be very excited when they find out what the mystery man is. TK, what do you think?
I already gave my assessment.
Fury, talk to us
If
on. Go ahead.
Yep, if I can chime in, I just want to say the mystery guy, we don't know who he is, but he obviously wants Bob. And this show is now 2 matches in, and the faces have won both of them. That's not looking good.
Well, in all fairness, the Johnny Miami match, he's a BWO talent. So we want our BWO guys to thrive, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. This scenario is a different take. I like where the story's going. I like where the direction that it's taken, and we're gonna see what happens next, because obviously there's some more wrinkles coming there. You moved into a little snippet Terry Borden segment with some good old Mean Gene Okerlund. You can never go wrong there, right? Simple, easy, to the point. Kind of playing up that he's already got the win over Miss Fury once before, and he's going to do it again and bring some honor and dignity to the BWO championship. Not a whole lot to be said there. It just rolls right into the $1 billion championship match between Muscle Midget and Big Money Oswald. Theo, let me come to you first with Muscle Midget and Mr. Oswald. Did the muscle midget not give Ozzy a run for his money, or what?
I mean, the poor little bastard, you know, he gave it his all. Money Oswald's coming off that big win against Demos on Anarchy, and maybe he was kind of got in his own head that maybe he was bigger than he really was, and the muscle midget, he went out there, gave us his best shot, and wasn't enough, but he definitely made Big Money sweat for that win.
Well, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about how Mini Morbid is the deterring factor here with a guitar shot to poor little Max Minis. Is it Max Mini?
Muscle midget.
Muscle midget, whatever. Max Mini was another midget wrestler from the '90s. Muscle midget, got cracked in the head with the guitar from Mini Morbid. TK, man, let's go to you on this one. Money Oswald's $1 billion titles on the line.
Yeah, this was a fun match to read. Muscle midget, I really like that guy. I like Mini Morbid too, but I think this sets something up, right? Should. Mini Morbid, Muscle Midget, Battle of the M&Ms. I think that
M&M's.
M&Ms, because they're tiny.
Mr. Bourbon,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on Oswald retaining the $1 billion championship?
Well, I think it's about time that somebody from Bob won a match here on the BWO card. Kudos to Oswald retaining against somebody that's or dwarf. Let's be PC. And I also look forward to many other small people who have initials that match, like MM and MM. Maybe we'll get Double D, Dynamic Dwarf. Maybe we'll get, Frenetic Fred. I went nowhere with that one, but still, it was good for him,
It's entertainment value. I can appreciate that. Moving into, this is one of the coming into this next match. It was not advertised as to just who Bobby Lee, the team of Chris Page, them No Good Bastards, and Andre Dixon were slated to take on four talents. We'll call them local. It's an exhibition just to kind of pop a rating and do what we got to do to help out Miss Fury. We start out with this kind of elaborate little entrance for the Bobby Elites. We cut a little promo to get things going, and of course they're red hot for us. And let's face it, why wouldn't they be? We get to calling out our local guys. We're like, we're go ahead, we're ready for you. Life gets a little interesting a little quickly. You've got a split screen where the four local talents are taken out, and lo and behold, you've got Robert Main and Drew Archild to step in and get a little comeuppance. Theo Pryce, this is one of the biggies on this show, so let me go to you because you know way more than I do about the individual who decides to make a return appearance here.
Yeah, so as Theo Pryce, I'm not really happy with what happened because we paid those local people and they didn't even get to go out there. So I feel like I wasted my money on those folks. Thankfully it's only $7.25 an hour, so we're good. But as the person who also handles Drew Archild, I was super excited. When you, Paige, had suggested doing this a couple weeks back, my eyes lit up because I was like, it's the perfect opportunity to make this happen. We had talked about, Jim Caddis coming back in some form or fashion as part of this Apex Bob war, but we hadn't really ironed out how we were going to do that. And when you proposed this match as the way to do that, I was like, it's just it's too perfect for words because it's angled. We don't have to worry about role plays or any of that stuff. We can make it literally whatever we want. And I thought it played extremely well. I thought it accomplished exactly what we wanted to. I am super excited for Jim to be back. I love reading his work, and I think those who are familiar with him do as well, and those who aren't, I think, are in for a treat.
This return was kind of kept close to the vest, and knowing the story that Robert and I are in the midst of telling, and you're 100% correct. When this came up, this was too perfect to not incorporate this and use it as the springboard to get Jim Cadis back into the mix. I personally haven't seen any of his work. I'll look him up. Is based off of what I hear from everyone else, from Robert to you to Fury and several others behind the scenes. This is a pretty big goddamn deal. So Fury, let me shoot it over to you. The match itself here, you would have thought that Bob and Drew would have came out straight up, but they're not stupid. They're not walking into they know they're walking into a situation where they're outnumbered. So why would they come from the front? Let's get them from behind so that we can even the score and even the playing field. Because you have to also keep in consideration Robert Maine coming off of Leap of Faith got laid out by Paige, and then going into Warfare, I evaded an attack. So you start out with the baby faces, they even the score, but that doesn't last long. So Miss Fury, take it away.
Well, no, we cut backstage, right?
Well, no, I want you to give me your thoughts on this this 8-person that turned into the handicap. Give me your thoughts on Jim Cadis's return.
Oh shit, dude, Jim Cadis coming back. You said it was a big deal. You said everybody's telling you it's a big deal. It's definitely a big deal. Like, everybody in the XWF is good, right? Like, I can't think of anybody that's not good, and we all have championship runs in us, right? And
Yep.
pretty much like the saying goes, I've heard it a million times. Anybody can beat anybody. But Jim Cadis is like Doc. Jim Cadis is like, when I'm starting to see out of Alias, Jim Cadis is like Corey. He's at upper echelon. He's something special. And to have him back's a pretty big goddamn deal. Him doing it on BWO, that was when I found out about it. That was a huge shock. Like, I told TK earlier, that's pay-per-view. That's like a Warfare leading into a pay-per-view. That's not what you would expect from in character an upstart rival federation show, but that's what you get. And it kind of sets the precedence that anything can happen on BWO shows.
Bobby Bourbon, you've got some Cadis knowledge. Where are you at with this, and what did you think about this little final product here to set up bigger things?
I'm excited to see what comes out of Cadis. From a reader standpoint, from a player standpoint, all that kind of stuff. In character, it's very nice that he is back in the BWO. I wonder if he's ever going to come back to the XWF.
Thunder Knuckles.
I think the surprise for this show in particular of Jim Cadis coming back, it's a big deal, right? When I was new, I was turned on to Jim Cadis by Fury. Said if you want to see how it's done, you read some Jim Cadis and Doc, and that's what I did. I read those two guys, and I was like, wow, they're good. So, I'm looking forward to him coming back. I want to see it firsthand.
Well, I don't think you've got to wait too much longer, because if indications are what they are, like, they ran us the fuck out of the ring.
Yeah, on our own show.
Well, yep. yes, and that was at the behest of Paige. It was more of a, let's pick and choose our battles. Could we have jumped in and did a number? Probably. Could we have done some shit? Probably. But let's see how this plays. I think the big thing, and this is Theo, this is something you and I have talked about off air, is just how this is going to be gauged, and I personally am glad that I had a little role in getting this done and getting him back on television if he's as good as everyone says that he is, and I mean the proof's in the pudding, right? This is huge, and it's only leading to some bigger things.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's huge for the Fed. I think somebody touched on it earlier, but like, it sets a bar and a precedent for this show. To a degree, it legitimizes the show a little bit. Not to say it was illegitimate before, but like when you have something this big that essentially crosses over into the XWF realm, it adds a wrinkle to this that I don't know was necessarily something that was expected or thought of from the beginning. Like I don't know when Fury conceptualized BWO and these shows how much there was going to be crossover between XWF and BWO outside of the Bob crew itself. So to have this happen on the inaugural show is pretty awesome. And I thought it was written very well. Kudos to you, Paige, for doing that. I was glad that you and I were able to behind the scenes discuss it and work it out and make it happen. I'm really excited to see what people's responses are to it and how it's used as a springboard towards other things going forward.
Doors wide open. You know what I'm saying? It leads us to the main event of the evening. It's the BWO World Title. It's the rematch. It's Miss Fury. It's Terry Borden. Let me go to you because this is the first main event of the first BWO show. I think everybody knows that I pretty much handle Terry Borden, brother. So when you conceptualize this event, I don't know if Borden was the initial opponent, right?
No, he wasn't. I was actually up until the midnight hour, as the saying goes, trying to scrounge together one. And then what originally happened was coming out of what was the pay-per-view? March Madness. Yeah. Coming out of March Madness, I was supposed to start a program with Solace. So we did that match on Anarchy with Terry and Fury, and Solace comes out, causes a distraction, and Borden gets the win, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was done. That had nothing to do with BWO. That was done solely to set up a program with Solace. But then I got to thinking about it. I was like, we could kill two birds with one stone, if you were down to do it. Borden could pick up that surprise win on Anarchy, and that could set it up for, hey, he's got the win over. Theo comes in like behind Fury's back, and he books Borden for this BWO show. Like, hey, you need an opponent. Here he is, and that was established in character too, because Fury right before that event, I think it was in a role play, but I can't really remember. But she was looking for an opponent, and that was like another layer of stress of all this shit she's got going on with Bob and BWO and trying to win the Anarchy title and perform in March Madness, stuff like that. So in character and out of character, I guess I'd say Terry Borden just kind of fell into her lap.
Well, talk to me about the match. I mean, you wrote this, so let's dive into it, and then we'll throw it out to thoughts, because this was a pretty good fucking match to end your show on.
Oh, thanks. It's full of skeduggery because Miss Fury's involved, and nothing can be legit if Miss Fury's involved. So Terry, despite his age, he has the obvious height, he has the obvious weight, he has the obvious experience advantage, despite Chris Page's 1 year of tutelage, right?
Right.
So Fury's looking to just use every trick that she can, and it's under Fury's rules, like every other match. So her cheating isn't cheating, and she gives Terry a run. But there's moments throughout that match that Terry gets the advantage because Fury isn't able to find that opening to cheat, get the cheap shot in, and do whatever. And in those instances, like there's signs that if this wasn't Fury's rules, if she didn't have Herschel on the outside, if she wasn't doing all this shit to cheat, Terry might have taken her easy. Like it looks like he could just easily ragdoll her around and beat the shit out of her. But at the end of the day, what happened? brother.
I got a fireball thrown in my face, sister.
Got a fireball thrown in your face by a overzealous, what we thought was a photographer. Might have been a Bob photographer. I don't know. We don't know. It didn't get revealed, did it?
No. We just know that somebody has tried to take that little slice of Americano away from us and Terry
Yep.
Borden with a fireball to the eye. Bobby
Now what?
Bourbon, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well,
Go ahead.
now what you got to ask yourself: was that just a random guy? Was that some thug we hired, or is there going to be more to that?
I guess we're gonna have to wait for that answer within our next show, which we'll cover that one here in just a few minutes. Mr. Burbs, talk to me on the successful title retention, and then we'll get into the aftermath.
Well, it was what it was. It was definitely, a heel taking advantage of the fact they set their own rules. Classic heel championship move right there. Will Borden come back from this? We don't know. That's what we got to look into. What's next for Borden?
Hospital visit. TK.
Yeah, this one was a fun read. I liked all the heel moves. I'm a big heel mark. What can I say? What can I say?
No.
I like the bad guys.
No.
The cameraman, that was neat. All around, I love the match.
Theo.
Yeah, I mean, as you'd said earlier, up until this point, it felt like the faces were kind of getting the one up on all the bad guys, and then you have this match where Fury just heals it out, and can't be made to look bad on her thing. So she does whatever she needs to and takes out the poor old man. And I have to make sure we have a rider in our insurance to cover his hospital bills, because that could be costly. But all in all, yeah, great match. Absolutely great match. Fun. Borden's a fun character. He's one of those characters that you can probably do just about anything with, either in terms of writing a role play or in how you depict the match, and it can be played off really well.
Miss Fury, talk to us about this post match.
Oh, post match, everything like Theo just touched on. The faces, they pretty much controlled the show, right? Fury just cheated her way to victory. It's not cheating, Fury's rules, but for lack of a better way to put it, she cheated her way to victory, right? And oh, some familiar entrance music hits. Who's this? It's Centurion. What's he doing? He's challenging for the title. He wants Fury, and this is building off of his promo leading into the last Anarchy flick, where he pretty much says, "This nice guy shit's not getting it done. The bad guys are running roughshod. I'm going to take the fight to them, and I'm going to play by their rules." And here he is. But Fury's not going to have that. Don't forget, she's part owner of this company, and if Cent wants it, Cent's going to have to earn it. And whatever that means is whatever Fury's got in store for him to get that title shot eventually. Maybe. We know that the first challenge will be defeating Sarah Themis at Leap of Faith. And can Centurion do that and move on to whatever other obstacles that stand in his path?
Time's gonna tell that one. So I want to shoot this around to everybody, and this is our first really angled show. Theo, let me go first and get your overall thoughts, top to bottom, beginning to end. Where's your head at with it?
I mean, to say it was everything I thought it could be would be a disservice, because I think it was more than that. I mean, I've worked with Graves before, so like I know what he's capable of in terms of angling things. We did it back in the day with the Kings and AX3, and that was a lot of fun because we did angle some different matches and stuff like that. So I know what he can do. And just the way it was booked, the way it was written, just all of it. It was fun, reading the commentary, the back and forth. I thought he did a really good job of telling a story within a story using the commentary. Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited. You know, it was great that we could use this show for a big thing like Jim's return. Um, you know, it sets the bar high for the next pay-per-view event that they're going to have. But I hope other people enjoyed reading it as much as I did. I hope all the people that put it together and helped Graves work on it enjoyed the work that they did and are hopefully hear this podcast and can see some of the responses people have and feel like they did a great job and a great service to the Fed by doing this.
Bobby Bourbon.
I think that overall the show was a success. You know, it hit all the notes you wanted to for an inaugural show. I look forward to seeing what surprises come next, and what kind of crossover we get with just normal XWF mainstays showing up. You know,
I think the potential's there and the opportunities there. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
I know that I'm gonna do it with the CCP character for sure. I mean, I like to do stories and do angles and something like that happening on a show like this. I mean, you go to look at Jim's return here. Use that as a point of reference. Like anything could happen. Like this could be a show that Paige could come in on overconfident against somebody and they pick up a fucking win, and build to another story without there being the the hassle with having to do all the major writing to make all that happen. TK, first BWO show, Uprising is in the books.
Yeah, it was a good one, a real fun read, and this is a little obscure thing that I find to be my favorite thing about the whole show. Right before the credits, there's a copyright of Theo Bob uh, Entertainment LLC, and I just think that's neat as shit.
Wait a minute, we gotta
That
find
means
that.
we don't. That means we don't have to worry about Terry Borden's hospital bills. We're limited liability.
That's right.
There you go. Good man.
It's always looking out. Great, Fury. This is it. This is the first show in the books. Was it how you feeling about it? Was it everything that you wanted to get out of it and then some, or where your feelings overall?
And then some. Definitely, and then some. Like, I've got to be honest, the return of Jim, when you came with me at it, that was a surprise to me. Um, Everything that I've been doing here in the last couple of weeks, both for the Fed and, real life, it honestly had kind of slipped my mind. And when you turned the segment in, instantly I remembered, but it was like, oh shit, a mark out moment because I'd forgotten that you said anything about it. But that aside, like, whole show, I'm happy with it. Like, it turned out, putting Jim Cadis aside, it turned out about as good as I'd hoped it would. Adding Jim Cadis to it, next level.
I think this this opens the doors to do so much stuff and outside of our every other week programming and all the points in between. Really good job on the program itself. The sky's really going to be the limit here with what we choose to do and where you choose to take it. And I'll do whatever I can to help you out, just like I'm sure Theo will, just like I'm sure TK and Burbs will too. Because it's just it just adds a different layer to an already really great Fed to be a part of.
Agreed, agreed. And like I'd said earlier, it adds that one element that, when we say the XWF has something for everybody, it didn't have that. It didn't have angled. So if anybody's interested in angled, maybe like Theo said, they'll come in, they'll get a feel for the Fed, they'll want to branch out to other shows, and even if they don't, it's still great because we got more people here contributing.
And that's really the end result. I mean, as long as people are doing their part and having a good time, that's all that really matters, right?
Yep, exactly. Like this show
Well,
right here. You guys are throwing praise in my lap, but this was a team effort, and this show went up because of the team coming together. Like, what was there? 5 matches? 5 matches written by 5 different people. I just want to point that out there. It was a team effort.
that's strong work to the team, man. That was awesome.
it's really good shit. I mean, we'll tie a bow on this one. And guys, I mean, it's the only other thing that we can do here is send this over to Vinny, man. Take us out.
Actually, this is a BWO show. So, how about Theo? You take us out.
And as always, now and forever, fuck you, Centurion.
Thanks for listening to the XWF podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the XWF YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at XWF1999. And don't forget to check us out at XWF99.com. Be sure to join us next time where the action never slows down.